Number two, the stakeholders part of our case study with Nicholas and Mrs. White, who are two of the stakeholders in this case, might have some new terminology for you. And this is where we're going to do a little bit of learning inside our case study for this week. I want you to think about all of the people that are on this team, that are at this meeting, and that are making decisions about Nicholas. And you need to answer that first question. Who has a seat at the table? Who's there? But more importantly, you need to think about who kind of really holds the power and who is making the decisions. And in order to do that, we need to take a look at 3 models of disability. And those are on the next couple of slides. I want to explain them to you first, and then I'll let you flip through those. There are 3 models of disability theory: the medical model, the charity model, and the social model. And they really come out of the 2 extremes. The medical model is where the issue is all with the person with a disability. You have to think about them being the problem. The disability is the problem. And the kind of opposite of that is the social model. And when we think about a social model, we think about the environment being a problem. Everything around the person with a disability is a barrier, and we somehow need to take care of that. The charity model kind of falls in between, and I kind of think of the charity model as putting a person with a disability in a bubble. And we have to protect that person with a disability. We have to provide sympathy for that person with a disability. We put them in a bubble. So you'll see 3 different images on the next couple of slides that kind of illustrate that. But you need to keep in mind that I think in this case, and you can use other examples if you'd like to, but I think in this case, the school is really taking a firm stance in the medical model when it comes to Nicholas, that something is wrong with Nicholas because of the way he learns. We need to cure or fix him by giving him a diagnosis. And really, in that meeting that's described at the end of our case, everybody at the table is a professional, and they're going to kind of unload their knowledge on the teacher and the mom. The teacher's kind of sits in both chairs. It is not an example of the social model where they're looking at the problem being the fact that Nicholas is having a hard time accessing his environment and his community and his learning. That the remedy that we're looking for might really be changing the barriers for Nicholas. An example of one of the barriers is often he doesn't have academic support at home because either mom's not home or somebody doesn't know how. And that can be a simple fix. That could be something we could take care of. He could get the practice that he needs. And really that meeting at the end of the case study would have to morph into the fact that some of those people who are assuming the stance of a medical model would need to flip more into an advocacy model, a true educator model, looking at the ways that we can get rid of barriers, and also making sure Nicholas has a say somewhere. The charity model for Nicholas would be where we need to protect Nicholas. We need to take away his struggle. We need to change things so that he doesn't have to struggle as much. And the seat at the table, the people in that meeting towards the end would be described more as a caregiver or someone making sure that Nicholas doesn't get frustrated and doesn't have those behaviors, and really becomes more of kind of, in spite of his struggle, he can learn in a different place or in a different way. And look, he can be successful. The charity model isn't the best one to describe Nicholas here. We're going to see that in some of our future case studies. But take a look at the next few slides where I've summarized everything that I've just told you. Take heed of what I've described, what I think of the disability models in place for Nicholas's case and his meeting, and describe that in this part 2 of your case study.